Captain Do-hyun Lee stood at the bridge of the UES horizon, his eyes fixed on the massive alien ship that had appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system. The ship was beautiful in a strange way, with smooth curves that seemed to bend light around it. It was 5 times bigger than the largest human spacecraft ever built. "Sir, they're sending another message," said Communications Officer Kim from her station. Her voice was steady, but Do-hyun could hear the tension in it. "Play it," he ordered, straightening his uniform. The whole bridge crew held their breath. A smooth, almost musical voice filled the room. "People of Earth, we come in peace. We are the Veracks, and we bring you a gift that will change your world forever." Do-hyun's wife, Lieutenant Jae Park, stepped closer to his command chair. As the ship's head engineer, she had been studying the alien vessel's readings for the past 3 hours. "Their technology is amazing," she whispered. "Look at their energy readings. They're barely using any power to stay in orbit." The alien message continued. "We have watched your species grow. You have great potential. To help you reach it, we offer you the key to the stars. The plans for our faster-than-light drive system." A murmur of excitement spread through the bridge. Humans had been trying to crack faster-than-light travel for decades. Now these aliens were offering it freely. "Sir," Jaya said, her dark eyes bright with excitement, "if they're serious about this, it could change everything." Do-hyun nodded slowly. "Or it could be too good to be true." He pressed the comm button on his chair. "Get me my sister. Now." Dr. Hae-yun Lee was already awake when the call came, despite it being 3 a.m. at her quantum physics lab in Seoul. She hadn't slept since the alien ship arrived 24 hours ago. "The aliens want to give us their FTL drive technology," Do-hyun said through the video call. "I need you to look at it. You're the best physicist we have." Hae-yun pushed her glasses up her nose. "Send me everything they give you. I'll start analyzing it right away." Within an hour, the Veracks transmitted detailed blueprints and specifications for their drive system. Hae-yun gathered her research team, including Dr. Taiwan Park, Jaya's brother, and one of Earth's leading experts in experimental propulsion. "This is incredible," Taiwan said, looking at the holographic display of the drive designs. "The way they manipulate space-time. It's elegant, beautiful, even." Hae-yun wasn't so sure. Something about the equations bothered her, but she couldn't put her finger on what. "We need to run more tests," she said. "The math looks perfect, almost too perfect." But Earth's governments were already excited. The United Earth Council called an emergency meeting. Politicians and military leaders from every nation gathered to discuss the alien gift. 3 weeks later, Do-hyun stood in Hae-yun's lab, watching his sister work. Dark circles under her eyes showed she hadn't been sleeping much. "Something's wrong with these designs," she said, pointing to a complex series of equations. "See this part here? The energy flow. It doesn't add up. We need more time to study it." "The council has already approved the test flight," Do-hyun said quietly. "They're not listening to concerns anymore. They say we can't risk insulting the Veracks by appearing ungrateful." Hae-yun slammed her hand on the desk. "This isn't about being grateful. It's about being careful. The test ship they want to build. Do-hyun, if I'm right about these numbers, something terrible could happen." Jaya volunteered to be on the engineering team for the test flight, Do-hyun said. His voice was heavy with worry. Hae-yun's face went pale. "No, you have to stop her. I need more time to prove what's wrong with these designs." "I tried. You know how she is when she sets her mind to something." Do-hyun managed a small smile. "Just like you." The next month passed in a blur of activity. The world's best engineers and scientists worked day and night to build humanity's first faster-than-light ship, the UES Prometheus. 300 of Earth's brightest minds were chosen as its crew, including Jaya. The day of the launch, Hae-yun made one last attempt to stop it. She rushed into the control room where Do-hyun was overseeing final preparations. "The quantum field calculations," she said, out of breath. I finally figured out what was wrong. When the drive activates, it won't create a stable wormhole. It'll. A loud cheer cut her off. On the main screen, the Prometheus's engines were powering up, glowing with a beautiful blue light. In the ship's engine room, Jia and her team were making final adjustments to the alien drive. Prometheus, you are cleared for FTL test, the launch controller announced. Commencing countdown. Hei-yun grabbed Do-hyun's arm. Stop them, please. But it was too late. The countdown reached 0. The Prometheus's new drive hummed to life. For a moment, everything seemed fine. The ship began to glow with strange, shifting colors. Then the sensors started screaming. Energy readings are off the charts. Someone shouted. The drive is. The Prometheus didn't explode. Instead, it imploded. The beautiful ship collapsed in on itself like a crushed paper cup. In less than 2 seconds, it was gone, taking 300 lives with it. The control room erupted in chaos. Do-hyun stood frozen, staring at the empty space where the ship had been, where his wife had been. Hei-yun held onto his arm, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. 2 days later, Hei-yun sat in her lab with Ta-won, both of them looking sick and tired. They had been analyzing the disaster nonstop. It wasn't an accident, Ta-won said, his voice shaking with anger. Look at these design elements. They're deliberately flawed. The drive was meant to fail exactly the way it did. Hei-yun nodded grimly. The Varaks knew what would happen. They designed it to kill the crew. She pulled up more data on her screen. And I found something else. The drive's failure released a very specific type of radiation. It wouldn't just kill the crew. It would target their DNA, making their deaths look natural if anyone examined the bodies, if there were any bodies to find. But why? Ta-won asked. Why give us this death trap? Before Hei-yun could answer, her computer beeped. A message from deep space monitoring stations appeared on her screen. Her eyes widened as she read it. Because they're coming back, she said. The long-range sensors just picked up multiple ships entering the solar system. Big ones. The gift wasn't a gift at all. It was just the first step of an invasion. She quickly sent a message to Do-hyun, knowing her brother would need this information. The Varaks hadn't just killed 300 people. They had deliberately targeted some of humanity's best and brightest minds, weakening Earth before their real attack. But they had made one big mistake. They had left Hei-yun and Ta-won alive. And now these 2 scientists understood the aliens' technology better than anyone else on Earth. They had studied it, found its flaws, and most importantly, they knew how to make it work correctly. In her lab, Hei-yun looked at a photo on her desk. It showed her, Do-hyun, and Jia at a family dinner just a month ago. They were all smiling, happy, unaware of what was coming. They think they're so much smarter than us, she said quietly. They think we're primitive, weak. She turned to Ta-won, her eyes hard with determination. Let's show them how wrong they are. Ta-won nodded, his expression matching hers. They had work to do. The Varaks thought they had handed humanity a perfect trap, but they were about to learn a hard lesson. Never underestimate humans, especially humans with a reason for revenge. 1 month after the Prometheus disaster, Captain Do-hyun Lee sat in a dark meeting room deep under Seoul. The walls were thick concrete, designed to block any signals from getting in or out. Around the table sat Earth's top military leaders, including Colonel Sun Mi-kang, the youngest person ever to reach her rank in the United Earth Defense Force. The Varaks fleet will reach Earth in 3 months, Colonel Kang said, pointing to a holographic map of the solar system. 6 large red dots moved slowly toward Earth. Their ships are bigger than anything we have. Our weapons won't even scratch their shields. Then we need different weapons, Do-hyun said. His voice was quiet but firm. In the past month, his hair had started turning gray at the temples. My sister and Dr. Park have been studying the drive plans the Varax gave us. They found something important. He pressed a button, and Hei-Yun's face appeared on the screen. She looked tired but determined. The Varax made a mistake, Hei-Yun said. They thought the drive's failure would destroy all their technical data. But we saved everything. We know how their technology works now. And more importantly, we know how to make it work correctly. The military leaders leaned forward. Hope flickered across their faces for the first time since the alien ships had been spotted. We can build a working faster-than-light drive, Hei-Yun continued. One that won't kill the crew. But we need resources, and we need them fast. Colonel Kang spoke up. What's your plan? We strike first, Du-Hyun said. We build a small, fast ship. We take it into Varax space before their invasion fleet arrives. We find their weakness, and we make them pay for what they did. The room was quiet for a long moment. Finally, the Defense Force commander spoke. This is a suicide mission, Captain Lee. You understand that? Do-Hyun nodded. Yes, sir. That's why I'm volunteering to lead it. In her lab, Hei-Yun worked day and night with Taiwan. They had turned a large room into a maze of computers, equipment, and holographic displays. On one wall hung the memorial photo of the Prometheus crew. Jaya's smiling face was in the front row. The power coupling is stable, Taiwan said, checking readings on a complex machine. The quantum field is holding steady. I think we've done it, Hei-Yun. We fixed their broken design. Hei-Yun walked around their test device, a smaller version of the drive that had killed her sister-in-law. The Varax thought they were so clever, she said. They made the plans look perfect on the surface. But they didn't count on us looking deeper. They didn't count on us being smart enough to understand their technology. Taiwan agreed. He paused, looking at Jaya's photo. I keep thinking about what she would say if she could see this. My sister always believed humans could do anything if we tried hard enough. Hei-Yun put a hand on his shoulder. She was right. And we're going to prove it. Their work was interrupted by Colonel Kang walking into the lab. The young colonel moved like a cat, quiet and graceful despite her military uniform. The council approved the mission, she said. They're calling it Operation Prometheus Rising. That's a good name, Hei-Yun said softly. I'm joining the team, Sunma announced. We need someone who can think like the enemy, predict their moves. That's what I do best. Hei-Yun nodded. She had heard stories about Colonel Kang's brilliant strategies, how she could spot patterns others missed. We'll need those skills where we're going. The next 2 months passed in a blur of activity. In a secret facility under the ocean, Earth's best engineers built a new ship. They called it the UES Phoenix, and it was unlike anything humans had made before. The Phoenix was small, just big enough for a crew of 5. Its hull was covered in special materials that absorbed radar and light, making it nearly invisible. But its heart was the new drive system that Hei-Yun and Taiwan had perfected. Do-Hyun stood in the ship's engine room, watching his sister make final adjustments. Are you sure you want to come? He asked. You and Taiwan would be safer on Earth. Hei-Yun didn't look up from her work. They killed Jaya, she said simply. They're planning to kill everyone else. I'm not hiding from them. The door opened, and Colonel Kang walked in with Taiwan. They had been studying all the information Earth had about the Varax, trying to understand their enemy. We found something interesting, Sunma said. She pulled up a holographic display showing different alien ships. Look at these designs. They're all connected to a central network. The Varax don't believe in independent systems. Everything links back to their main control. That could be a weakness, Taiwan added. If we can get into their network, we could take control of their ships. Hei-Yun finished, her eyes lighting up. But first we have to reach their space without being caught. The day before launch, Du-Hyun stood on the underwater facility's observation deck, looking up at the dark ocean above. The weight of their mission pressed down on him like the millions of tons of water overhead. He heard footsteps and turned to see Colonel Kang approaching. She stood beside him, also looking up. "Having second thoughts, Captain?" she asked. "No," he said. "Just thinking about what we're about to do. 5 of us against an entire alien empire." Sun Ma smiled slightly. "Sometimes the smallest team can do the most damage. You just have to know where to strike." She turned to face him. "The Verax think they're superior to us. That will be their downfall." "How can you be so sure?" "Because I've studied every battle they've fought. They always use the same tactics. They're predictable. They don't adapt well to surprises." She pointed up toward the surface. "Right now, they think they've weakened us. They think we're grieving and afraid. They don't expect us to strike back." Do Hyun nodded slowly. "And that's exactly why we will." Launch day arrived with a sense of grim determination. The Phoenix's crew gathered in the ship's small bridge. Do Hyun in the captain's chair, Hyun at the science station, Taiwan at engineering, Sun Mai at tactical, and their pilot, Lieutenant Minho Ryu, at the helm. "All systems are ready," Taiwan reported. "The drive is stable. Stealth systems active," Sun Mai added. "We're as invisible as we're going to get." Do Hyun looked at each member of his crew. They were Earth's best hope, though no one on the surface knew they existed. Their mission was completely secret. If they failed, no one would ever know what happened to them. "Lieutenant Ryu," he said, "take us up." The Phoenix rose smoothly through the dark water. Its special hull kept it hidden from both Earth's satellites and the approaching Verax fleet. As they broke the surface, Hyun's instruments tracked the alien ships, now close enough to see with normal telescopes. "Drive powering up," Taiwan announced. The engine's hum was different from the Prometheus. Cleaner, steadier, ready for faster-than-light jump in 10 seconds. Do Hyun thought of Jia, of her excitement about the alien drive. He wished she could see how humans had taken the Verax's trap and turned it into something beautiful and powerful. 5 seconds, Taiwan said. 4, 3, 2, 1. The stars blurred around them as the Phoenix made its jump. There was no implosion, no disaster. Just smooth acceleration that took them far beyond the speed of light. They were on their way to Verax space, carrying Earth's revenge with them. The aliens had tried to break humanity's spirit. Instead, they had given humans the tools for their own destruction. As the Phoenix raced through space, Hyun worked at her station, studying the Verax's network signals. They were getting stronger, which meant they were heading in the right direction. "Their security is complex," she said, "but every system has a way in. We just have to find it." The Verax had made 3 big mistakes. First, they had underestimated human intelligence. Second, they had given humans access to their technology. And third, they had made their attack personal. Now they would learn what happened when you pushed humans too far. The Phoenix carried not just Earth's best minds, but also its burning desire for justice. The Verax thought they had handed humanity a death trap. Soon they would discover that they had actually given humans the key to their own destruction. The Phoenix dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the edge of Verax space. The small ship's systems hummed quietly as it drifted between the stars. Inside, the crew worked at their stations, each focused on their tasks. "Status report," Captain Do Hyun Lee said, his voice barely above a whisper even though no one could hear them in space. "Drive systems are stable." Taiwan reported from engineering. "The Verax design works perfectly now that we fixed it." Hyun looked up from her science station. "I'm picking up dozens of alien signals. Their network is everywhere out here." She adjusted her screens, studying the data. "It's like they've built an internet that covers their entire empire." Colonel Sun Mi Kang stood behind Hyun, watching the information flow across the screens. "Can you tell what kind of information they're sending?" "Most of it is encrypted," Hyun said, "but some patterns are starting to make sense. Look at this." She pointed to a series of repeating signals. These seemed to be automatic status updates from their ships and stations. They're constantly telling the network where they are and what they're doing. They trust their technology completely, Sun Mai said thoughtfully. They don't even consider that someone might be listening. Lieutenant Minho Ryu spoke up from the pilot's seat. I'm picking up a small space station ahead. It's on the edge of their territory, probably a research facility. Do Hyun leaned forward in his chair. What do you think, Colonel? Is this our way in? Sun Mi studied the station's layout on their screens. It's perfect. Small crew, minimal defenses. They don't expect anyone to reach this far into their space. She turned to Hyun. Can you get into their systems from here? Hyun nodded slowly. I think so. But we'll need to get closer. The Phoenix glided silently toward the Verax station. Its special hull absorbed all scanning signals, making it invisible to the alien sensors. They watched through their view screens as the station grew larger, a strange structure of curved metal that seemed to flow like liquid. Their architecture is beautiful, Minho said quietly. It's hard to believe they're so cruel. That's what makes them dangerous, Sun Mai replied. They see themselves as artists, creators of perfect things. They think that gives them the right to destroy anything they consider imperfect. Hyun worked at her station, her fingers flying over the controls. I'm starting to decode their basic signals. Their computer language is complex, but it follows strict patterns. They never break their own rules. How long until you can get into their systems? Do Hyun asked. A few hours, maybe less. Ta-1 and I have been studying their code since. She paused, thinking of the Prometheus. Since they gave us their drive plans, we understand how they think now. While Hyun and Ta-1 worked on breaking into the alien network, Sun Mi showed Do Hyun what she had learned about the Verax military. They don't believe in backup plans, she explained, displaying tactical information on the bridge's main screen. Their technology is so advanced that they've never needed them. Every ship, every weapon, every system is connected to their central network. They think this makes them stronger, but it actually makes them vulnerable, Do Hyun said, understanding dawning on his face. Exactly. They have no way to operate independently if something goes wrong with their network. They've never even considered they might need to. Their discussion was interrupted by an excited sound from Hyun. We're in. We have access to their basic systems. The crew gathered around her station. The screen showed streams of alien data, now partially translated into human language. Look at this, Hyun said, pointing to one section. They store everything. Every piece of data from every ship and station in their empire. They never delete anything because their storage systems are so advanced. She pulled up more information. And I found something else. Records of other species they've destroyed. We're not the first ones they've given gifts to. The screen showed images of different alien races. Some looked almost human, others were completely different. But they all shared the same fate. They had trusted the Verax and paid for it with their lives. How many? Do Hyun asked quietly. 12 species in the past 100 years, Hyun answered. They call it cleaning the galaxy. They find developing civilizations, pretend to help them, then destroy them before they can become a threat. Taiwan had been studying another set of data. But look at this, their invasion fleet heading to Earth. It's larger than anything they've sent before. They're worried about us. They think we're more dangerous than the others. They're right, Sun Mai said with a grim smile. We are. The next few hours were tense as Hyun and Taiwan dug deeper into the Verax systems. The rest of the crew watched the station carefully, ready to run if they were discovered. I think I found their weakness, Hyun announced finally. Their network uses quantum entanglement for instant communication across space. It's incredibly advanced, but they never considered someone might use the quantum links against them. What do you mean? Do Hyun asked. Their ship's weapons, shields, everything. It's all controlled through quantum entangled particles. They think this makes the connections impossible to break or hack. She smiled. But they never thought about using the quantum field itself as a weapon. Taiwan picked up her explanation. We can create a virus that spreads through the quantum links. Once it starts, they can't stop it. It would turn their whole network against them. Their ships would be fighting themselves, Sun Mai said. Understanding the plan, their own weapons would target their shields. But we need to get the virus into their main network hub, He-yun said. This small station isn't connected to their highest security systems. We need to find their central command. Minho spoke up from his station. I think I found it. He brought up a map on the main screen. There's a huge structure at the center of their empire. All the quantum links lead there. That's where we need to go, Do-hyun said. But it'll be heavily guarded. Not as much as you'd think, Sun Mai said, studying the tactical data. They're so confident in their technology that they don't bother with many physical defenses. They think their network security is perfect. Their pride will be their downfall, He-yun said quietly, just like it was with the Prometheus. They thought we were too primitive to understand their technology. They never imagined we could turn it against them. As they prepared to leave the research station's range, He-yun made one final discovery in the alien database. They have detailed files on every species they've destroyed, she said. They study how each race dies, how they react to betrayal. They treat it like some kind of science experiment. What do their files say about humans? Minho asked. He-yun read through the data. They're confused. They expected us to panic when the Prometheus was destroyed, to turn on each other in fear. Instead, we united. They don't understand why. Because they don't understand family, Do-hyun said, thinking of Jia. They don't understand love or loyalty, or the desire for justice. They think emotions make us weak, Sun Mai added. They can't see that feelings like love and anger can make us stronger. The Phoenix's engines hummed to life as they prepared for another faster-than-light jump. They had what they needed now, understanding of the Verax systems, and a plan to use it against them. Setting course for their central command, Minho announced. Do-hyun looked at his crew, his sister, his dead wife's brother, and 2 of Earth's finest officers. They were 5 humans against an empire that had destroyed entire civilizations, but they had something the Verax would never understand. The strength that comes from fighting for more than just yourself. The invasion fleet will reach Earth in 6 weeks, he said. We have until then to make the Verax regret ever hearing about humans. The Phoenix vanished into faster-than-light speed, carrying with it humanity's best hope for survival. The Verax thought they were the masters of technology, that their advanced weapons made them invincible. They were about to learn that technology alone wasn't enough. Sometimes the most dangerous weapon was a human heart filled with determination and the desire for justice. The Phoenix hung silently in space near the massive Verax Central Command Station. The alien structure was enormous, a spiraling collection of curved metal and shimmering energy fields that stretched for kilometers in every direction. Streams of data flowed through visible light channels, connecting it to every part of the Verax Empire. Their invasion fleet will reach Earth in 3 days, Colonel Sun Mi Kang reported from her tactical station. All 6 of their main battle cruisers are moving into position. Captain Do-hyun Lee nodded grimly. He-yun, is the virus ready? His sister looked up from her science station, where she and Taiwan had been working nonstop for the past week. It's ready, but we still need to get it into their main network core. Their quantum security is strongest here. We'll only get one chance at this, Taiwan added. Once we start, they'll know we're here. Lieutenant Minho Ryu spoke up from the pilot's seat. I've been watching their traffic patterns. Supply ships come and go every few hours. Their security barely checks them because everything is controlled by the network. That's our way in, Sun Mai said. We use their pride against them. They'll never expect a primitive human ship to reach their core worlds, let alone their central command. Do-hyun studied the station's layout on their main screen. How close do we need to get for the virus to work? Very close, He-Yun answered. We need to be inside their main quantum field. That means getting within the station's outer ring. Then that's what we'll do. Do-Hyun straightened in his captain's chair. Min-Ho, plot a course that matches the supply ships. Everyone else, prepare for our final mission. One way or another, this ends today. The Phoenix glided toward the station, its movements exactly matching the gentle drift of Varak's supply vessels. Their modified hull absorbed all scans, making them appear as nothing more than a shadow among shadows. He-Yun and Taiwan made final adjustments to their virus. They had built it using the Varax's own quantum programming language, but they had added something the aliens would never expect: human creativity and unpredictability. Look at this, Sunmai said suddenly, pointing to her tactical display. The invasion fleet just sent a message to Earth's governments. They're demanding immediate surrender. What are they offering in return? Do-Hyun asked, though he already knew the answer. They promised to spare 10% of the population as a breeding stock to preserve our genetic diversity. Sunmi's voice was cold with anger. They say it's more than generous compared to what they usually offer. They think they're being kind, He-Yun said quietly. In their minds, they're superior beings choosing to preserve a small part of a lesser species. They don't even see it as cruel. The Phoenix passed through the station's outer defensive grid. No alarms sounded. Just as they had predicted, the Varax relied too much on their automated systems to notice one small ship hiding in plain sight. We're entering their quantum field now, Taiwan reported. I can feel the power of it. The amount of data flowing through here is incredible. He-Yun's fingers flew over her controls. Beginning virus upload. This will take a few minutes. We need to stay within range. They're going to notice us soon, Sunmai warned. Their quantum sensors are too strong this close. As if on cue, alarms began to sound throughout the station. The Phoenix's sensors showed defense systems coming online, weapons powering up. They've spotted us, Min-Ho reported calmly. Multiple ships moving to intercept. How much longer? Do-Hyun asked his sister. 2 more minutes, maybe less. He-Yun didn't look up from her work. The virus is spreading through their quantum network. Once it reaches the core, there's nothing they can do to stop it. The first shots from Varak's defense platforms flashed past the Phoenix. Min-Ho's skilled piloting kept them just ahead of the energy beams, but they couldn't dodge forever. 1 minute, Ta-1 called out. The virus is at 60% penetration. A blast rocked the small ship. Warning lights flashed across every console. Direct hit to our rear shields, Sunmai reported. They won't take another one like that. 40 seconds, He-Yun said through gritted teeth. The virus is fighting their security systems. Another hit shook the Phoenix. Smoke began to fill the bridge as systems overloaded. 30 seconds. The main screen showed dozens of Varak ships closing in. Their weapons were charged, ready to destroy the human vessel that had dared to invade their most sacred space. 20 seconds. Do-Hyun thought of Jia, of the Prometheus, of all the other species the Varax had destroyed. Hold position, he ordered, no matter what. 10 seconds. The Varak ships opened fire all at once. Energy beams converged on the Phoenix's position. Done, He-Yun shouted. The virus is in their core systems. Get us out of here, Min-Ho, Do-Hyun commanded. The Phoenix jumped to faster than light speed just as the energy beams reached their position. They fled into the safety of space, leaving behind a very different kind of destruction than the Varax had expected. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The great station continued to pulse with energy, its quantum network flowing with data. Then, slowly, things began to change. Security systems turned against their own ships. Weapons targeted friendly vessels. Shields protected nothing while leaving vital systems exposed. The perfect order of Varak's technology descended into chaos. The virus spread through the quantum links, reaching every ship, every station, every system in their empire. Their technology was so interconnected that nothing could escape it. The Phoenix dropped back into normal space at a safe distance. On their screens, they watched the Verax Empire tear itself apart. "It's beautiful, in a way," Minho said softly. "Like watching a symphony of destruction." "The invasion fleet," Sunmai reported with satisfaction. "They're losing control of their ships. Their weapons are firing randomly. Shields are failing." He-Yun worked at her station, monitoring the virus's spread. "The quantum links are carrying it everywhere. They can't stop it because they never built in any way to disconnect from their network. They thought they'd never need to." "What about their central command?" Do-Hyun asked. "In complete chaos," Ta-Won answered. "They're trying to shut down the network, but they can't. Everything is too connected. The more they fight it, the worse it gets." A signal came through their communication system. The universal translator converted it to human speech. It was a Verax commander, his musical voice now filled with desperation. "Please," the alien said. "Stop this. We surrender. We will give you anything you want." Do-Hyun looked at his crew. Each of them nodded slowly. "This is Captain Do-Hyun Lee of Earth," he responded. "You tried to destroy our world. You killed our people. You've done the same to 12 other species. Now you learn what it means to face human justice." He turned to He-Yun. "Send them the second part of the virus." He-Yun pressed a series of commands. This time, the virus didn't cause destruction. Instead, it began downloading the Verax's entire database, every record of every species they had destroyed, every plan they had made, every secret they had kept. "The galaxy will know what you've done," Do-Hyun continued. "Every civilization you've contacted will learn how you betrayed them. Your perfect empire will be remembered as nothing but a collection of murderers and cowards." The Verax commander's voice shook. You're supposed to be primitive. How did you do this?" "You gave us the tools," He-Yun answered. "You thought we were too simple to understand them. That was your mistake. We're sending coordinates to your remaining ships," Sunmai added. "You will gather there to surrender to Earth's forces. If any ship deviates from this course, the virus will destroy it completely." 3 days later, the Phoenix led a battered fleet of Verax ships toward Earth. The once proud invasion force was now a collection of half-working vessels, their crews humbled and afraid. Earth's defense forces were waiting, warned by coded messages from the Phoenix. They watched in amazement as the alien ships surrendered one by one. In the Phoenix's bridge, Do-Hyun stood with his crew, watching their victory unfold. "What happens now?" Minho asked. "Now we rebuild," Sunmai answered. "We help the other species the Verax tried to destroy. We show them a better way. And we remember," He-Yun added softly. "We remember everyone we lost, everyone they killed. We make sure nothing like this ever happens again." Do-Hyun touched the captain's chair where he had sat through their mission. "Jaya would have loved to see this," he said. "She always said humans would reach the stars someday." "We did more than reach them," Ta-Won said. "We proved something important. Technology isn't everything. Sometimes the strongest weapon is the human spirit." As the Phoenix descended toward Earth, its small crew knew they had changed the galaxy forever. The Verax had tried to destroy humanity by giving them a trap disguised as a gift. Instead, they had given humans the tools to overthrow an empire. It was a lesson the galaxy would never forget. Never underestimate humans. They take what you give them, learn from it, improve it, and if you wrong them, they'll use it to make you pay for your mistakes. The Verax had thought they were superior beings blessing primitive species with advanced technology. They learned too late that true advancement comes not from technology alone, but from the heart and spirit of those who use it. In the end, it wasn't their perfect quantum network or their advanced weapons that decided the fate of their empire. It was 5 humans in a small ship, armed with determination, creativity, and the unshakable desire to see justice done.